Hello, my name is Giten Tonkov, and I'm a creator and developer of BioDynamic Breath and Trauma Release. And I'm here with Richard Bock, who's a master aquatic body worker and also a BioDynamic Breath and Trauma Release practitioner. And in this session, we're going to attempt to demonstrate how BioDynamic Breath and Trauma Release can be applied to aquatic body work and what happens with the body when the tension that's stuck in the nervous system begins to unwind and release when the spine is moved in a very slow, fluid way.
So what happens for me in the water, and what biodynamic breathwork has brought to the water, in aquatic body work the focus was always just on relaxation, and in biodynamic breathwork we actually go into a territory where an old trauma might get triggered intentionally, just in small amounts, so that the body can actually release the trauma. And the results that I have seen from this are phenomenal. This goes way beyond relaxation. This goes actually into trauma release. And so I'm super excited that biodynamic breathwork is coming and trauma release is coming into the water. And so I've been experimenting with this for a few weeks now, and I'm really amazed at what can happen. So we would like to demonstrate a little bit of that.
Okay, enjoy.
Maybe letting your attention come into your body. Just noticing if there's any areas that are louder than others, anything of interest, or charge. Noticing that.
And noticing the charge being around the upper body, mostly around the chest area. But also at the same time, I feel quite present and grounded in my legs. Also feeling that I'm grounded in my legs are grounded at the bottom of the pool. Yeah, I feel quite well in the body today, dancing in the morning and with really breathing into my body.
The area of charge, what are the sensations there?
It feels a bit more dense. All of the area around my upper chest feels kind of dense, but not in any way negative. It just feels that there's something is holding there.
So let's just start out keeping your attention in this place, maybe even closing your eyes and really just sensing into that place, and maybe even breathing into that area, especially the inhale. And you will sense my hands and movements just encouraging your breath. When I do put the nose clips on you, you can let that be an indication from me that I'm trusting how I'm able to stay with your breath, and you can just keep relaxing. There's nothing that you need to hold back in any way. And from this place of just being aware of your chest and breathing into it, also noticing how in the inhale your body feels lighter, and the exhale your body maybe you can just begin to relax into this. focus in the beginning of the session is to feel with him, to sense with him, to support his breath, maybe even contribute to the breath. And you can see these movements are all contributing. The flexion contributes to the exhalation, the opening contributes to the inhalation. You can even go into a place of encouraging the inhale even more. Because we have already worked every couple of days, there's a lot of rapport here between our bodies, and so you'll see me quite deeply involved in his breath. In the beginning session, it might go much slower, but his nervous system really receives my input deeply. The breathing has deepened. He takes in about 80-90% of his full capacity, allows the exhale to go to the bottom. The inhale comes all the way up into the chest. And here I can begin to just explore the mobility of his spine. Passive mobility of all the joints. So the encouragement to breathe full breaths that normally in a regular biodynamic breath session happens verbally, that we encourage a person to breathe in this way. Here in this work it happens non-verbally, just through all the movements, because they directly relate to the breath. And when the breath is at this point already, there might be some unwinding that begins to happen all by itself. Especially when we engage the sympathetic nervous system by allowing a little bit of the head to come into an extension. And it's a little bit like a dance, just to give the body permission to release through its own movements. It's passive and active, back and forth. Introduction to going underwater, you can sense there's a deep trust already. He's not even, his body's leaning in the directions of wanting to stay under. In the first submerging, usually I will keep it a little shorter but there is already a deep longing in his system to stay under and to be in that peaceful place of being completely suspended. In some ways, the whole world underwater, where there is no need for breath because the body is oxygenated, is a bit like being in the womb. Except here we have a lot more space, it's a big womb. So I'm gonna allow him the fulfillment of this longing for the freedom of being underwater. And here I am just going to explore all the joints, the toes, the ankles, the knees, the hips, the whole mobility of the spine, the shoulders, elbows, even wrists, the spine all the way up into the neck and the head. And you can see there's a freedom in the spine already, and the freedom in the limbs. These are all passive movements. So these releases that you saw, these movements, are all the body's way of releasing trapped energy, energy that has not had its way previously. And here I'm going to encourage him to also find that underwater. In some ways we're finding very primal kind of undulating movements, like a jellyfish or different organisms that move in these ways, where waves travel up and down or sideways. And so the whole organism comes back into a primal kind of a state, where it remembers its origins. And finds an amazing freedom that would be very difficult to find if we were in gravity, but in this suspended place from gravity. So much beautiful movement can happen. in these extensions and in these movements, a deep longing for freedom, and be satisfied. I feel like a dolphin again, like an aquatic creature. And you can see with him, he's not even ready to come up. He can stay under for minutes, sometimes 2-3 minutes even, just because his body is so deeply oxygenated. There's so much joy. And oftentimes people report that they come to these places where they don't ever want to come up again. And of course the need for the next breath will kick in by itself. These suspended places, in yogic terms sometimes it's called kumbhaka, where everything suspends. There's nowhere to go. Just this freedom of being, aliveness itself. Some of these movements radiate out from the sacrum, through the legs, from other parts of the spine, through the arms and through the neck, and through the tailbone. The orgasmic reflex gets triggered and can be quite joyful. Now you can see there's gentle movements that are not just in response to what I'm initiating, like within its own, the body finds its very soft unwindings, very soft releases. Initially, someone might not be able to stay under the water for this long, and it's not about staying under the water for a long time. It's all about relaxing and letting the body find its freedom and letting it all unwind. And then this capacity to stay under longer just develops by itself through the relaxation of the breath, through the freeing of trapped energy in the body. And I keep checking if he wants to come up yet, and there's a clear indication from his head that there is no need. There's not even a thought of breathing. oftentimes under my hands I can feel little spinal adjustments that happen pretty much on their own. Effortless, just in this movement towards freedom. Contact with the ground, he found his resource in his legs to begin with, and so I let him feel this power that he has through his legs. And even initiating for him to find that underwater. Encouraging all these reflexes that are very healthy reflexes. Entirely relying on me to bring him to the surface, and now I'm encouraging him to initiate that from his own body, not as a emergency response, but as a just a healthy initiation. He loves being underwater for a long time. Even giving him a little bit of a resistance in coming out, just to let him feel his strength, to let him come into this. His body has the capacity to fight for its survival, but here it is just engaged in a dance. In a dance of freedom, healthy response. The range of motion that arises out of all this release is quite phenomenal. Oftentimes people can come into a range of motion that they have never experienced before. naturally just coming into this fetus position. So I just support that, begin to use my body as the womb that surrounds the fetus. While deeply listening and staying present with his body, staying present to any movement energetically, physically that arises. And here we can also let him have an embryo experience that is more free, where it's just floating through the cosmos. His face right now is just joy, is innocence, total innocence in the face. Going back to the beginning, to where it all started. Responding to the environment. What if the environment tugs and says, hey, come here. With 10 fingers and 10 toes and arms and legs and your capacity to breathe all on your own. Initiate a very slow transition where I stay deeply involved with him and yet return his body more and more back into its complete autonomy, into its own connection with the solidness of the earth, the ground. touch basically communicating a welcoming into the autonomy of this adult presence here, this humanness in its full capacity, alive, free, fully oxygenated. I'm going to step away physically just a little bit to give you a bit more space. Taking your time. Yeah. And I'm going to be here energetically, fully holding space for you for this process. You can unwind. And if at any time you desire to go underwater, there's these amazing nose clips where you can find what you found with me. You can find it all on your own and be even more free.
So it's not so easy for me to talk right now, so I'm still feeling the effects of the session. But what struck me the most is really feeling how the spine unwinds in these underwater movements, and what happens after I come up to the surface, that whatever charge has still been present there has the chance to release, and without any drama, without anything grand happening, and it just goes in a wave and passes, and it's done. And
I'm so grateful that you say this.
and just even talking about it, I get very emotional, because it's really, it feels something very deep that's arising, and it's quite profound, the feeling that I get from this. It's a very beautiful experience to feel this modality come into the water, biodynamic breath and trauma release come into the water. What the potential for this is limitless.
So I just want to point to what is obvious to me there in what you're saying, and it is that the water, we use water for washing our bodies, our clothes. It has a cleansing quality. It has the same quality on the emotional body and on the physical body in terms of releasing and letting go. In my experience, an emotional release that takes 5 or 10 minutes on land takes like 2 breaths in the water and has the same depth. The electrical charge that is released, the water is an electrical conductor. So it can happen, like you were describing, so effortless, so easy.
The feeling of everything, every process in my body slowed down to almost a still place. The heart slows down, the breath stops. So there's a very acute sense of self. That anything that happens, any charge of energy that moves through, it felt so acutely. being present to it, the felt sense is magnified to an amazing big degree.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful descriptions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's such an honor to have this new found system that you've really brought together, to have that then arrive in the water as a package, and then my work completely flowering into this big work. And I want to share more of that and really keep playing with it and keep investigating what are the potentials here. Yeah. Thank you, Giten, for your gifts and for letting me share mine with you and bring them together.
Thank you for amazing experience. Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. See you at BioDynamic Breath and Trauma Release workshops. And this is Richard Bock.
Yeah,
Amazing aquatic body worker.
We'll be together at Gaia Oasis.
Yes.
Yeah,
We'll be together at Gaia Oasis at Bali, in Bali, this April 17 to 29, 2017. See you here.
Yeah. Oh, epic.